For years, Beyoncé moved like a ghost in the business world. No interviews, no behind-the-scenes chaos, just sleek rollouts, fire visuals, and sold-out shows. To the outside world, it all looked flawless. But dig a little deeper and the cracks in the empire start to show. Some say she's untouchable. Others are starting to wonder if that distance is the very reason her business ventures keep crashing and burning. Because while Beyoncé's music legacy is bulletproof, her brand outside the studio, that story's way messier than fans like to admit. Let's start with House of Derion. Back in 2004, Beyoncé and her mom, Tina Knowles, dropped this bold, soul-inspired fashion line named after her grandmother. With Tina's design game and Beyoncé's name on the tag, it should have been an instant classic. The rollout had heat, campaigns, Bloomingdale's partnerships, even Bay modeling on tropical islands. But it flopped hard. Critics called the designs tacky, said the clothes didn't match Beyoncé's polished image. Sales tanked, and instead of fighting to save it, the brand quietly faded into nothing. No statement, no apology, just gone. But here's the thing, that wasn't a one-off. Fast forward to Ivy Park, her high-profile activewear line. Beyoncé first partnered with Topshop, but things turned toxic fast. Accusations of harassment and discrimination flew, and Beyoncé had to buy out her partner's entire stake just to save face. It looked like a power move, but behind the scenes, damage was done. Then came the Adidas collab. The first launch? Huge. Fans flooded online stores. But the hype didn't last. By 2023, sales had collapsed. Adidas expected $250 million, 0 cents in revenue. They barely hit $40 million, 0 cents. The partnership ended. Coyly again. So what's really going wrong here? Why do these projects keep launching with fanfare and crashing just as fast? One word, connection. Or more accurately, the lack of it. Beyoncé's brand thrives on mystery. She vanishes for months, drops surprise albums, and the internet melts down. That works in music. It even creates a kind of myth. But in business, mystery doesn't sell. People don't just want a product with a celebrity name, they want to see you using it. Living it. Rihanna gets this, Kim Kardashian too. They show up, they're in videos applying foundation, trying on fits, being goofy, being real. Beyoncé, she launches and disappears. Fans don't feel included, they feel like outsiders. Even her perfume line tells the same story. Heat came in hot, pulling in over $400 million, 0 cents, worldwide. For a while, it was the top-sellered celeb fragrance on the planet. But then came the spin-offs, Pulse, Midnight Heat, Heat Rush, all chasing the original high, and just like that, the line cooled off. By 2013, her once top-shelf perfume was popping up in clearance bins. That's the retail version of a death certificate. Her licensing company moved on, and fans barely noticed. It's not just fashion and fragrance. Even her film projects under Parkwood Entertainment had a mixed run. Cadillac Records flopped at the box office. Obsessed made decent money but got roasted by critics. And when Parkwood tried transitioning into a full-blown label, things didn't get better. They got weirder. Artists signed to Parkwood weren't getting shine. Chloe Bailey, despite all the hype, saw her debut album tank. And the wildest part, Beyoncé didn't promote it. No tweet, no story, not even a repost. That silence? It spoke volumes. People are starting to ask, does Beyoncé really know how to build brands outside of herself? Because running a business means showing up, promoting, connecting, letting people in. But Beyoncé's whole thing is not letting anyone in. And in this new era of business where transparency and relatability rule, that just might be her biggest downfall. When Beyoncé dropped Ivy Park with Adidas, the streets were buzzing. It felt like she was finally syncing her brand with something fresh, sporty, and modern. The marketing was sharp, the visuals hit hard, and the fan base went into frenzy mode. For a minute, it looked like this was the turnaround. But once the initial hype settled, so did the cracks. Adidas had projected sky-high numbers, hundreds of millions in revenue. What they got was a quiet disappointment. The clothes didn't sell, stores were overstocked, and the worst part, fans didn't even know what Ivy Park stood for. The branding was all vibes, no clarity. Fashion isn't just about putting your name on a tag, it's storytelling, it's lifestyle. And when the face behind the brand rarely shows up wearing or talking about it, people start to feel like the whole thing is a marketing ghost town. No real energy, no heartbeat. Ivy Park had all the aesthetics but none of the emotion. Looked like Beyoncé, but it didn't feel like Beyoncé. That disconnect made the brand feel artificial, like a costume rather than a culture. And culture is what sells today. Same thing happened with her wellness collab in 2015. Beyoncé teamed up with a trainer to push a nutrition program. But this wasn't some casual healthy meal plan, it was aggressively low calorie, so low that health professionals publicly warned people to stay away. The backlash came fast. Nutritionists called it dangerous, fans called it unrealistic, and critics questioned why Beyoncé would even co-sign something so extreme. There was no dialogue, no defense, just silence. And when the criticism piled up, the brand evaporated. Another flop swept under the rug. But here's the pattern. These ventures don't fail because they lack funding or aesthetics. They fail because they lack soul. Rihanna built Fenty by being in it. Tutorials, lives, unfiltered posts, she became the face and the hands behind it. That's why fans trust her. Kim Kardashian's Skims feels like a natural extension of her. She's always in the product, promoting it in the most casual, relatable ways. Beyoncé, on the other hand, floats above it all. Regal, iconic, but distant. We don't believe she's using her perfume every day or working out in Ivy Park leggings. It all feels manufactured, like a photo shoot, not a passion. Then there's Parkwood Entertainment. When Beyoncé cut ties with her father and took full control, it was painted as a boss move. She was running her own empire, dropping visual albums, curating tours, owning her narrative. But when it came to managing others, signing artists, launching careers, the empire showed serious cracks. Chloe Bailey had all the ingredients of a breakout star. Talent, looks, momentum, but when her album dropped and the numbers flopped, people noticed Beyoncé's hands were nowhere in sight. No posts, no push, no energy, and for an artist signed under your name, that absence stings hard. Industry insiders began whispering what fans were already tweeting. Parkwood doesn't nurture, it mirrors. Every artist ends up sounding like Beyoncé light. The style, the visuals, the sound, all just faint echoes of the queen. There's no space for originality, just pressure to match Beyoncé's perfection. But without her platform, fame, or media machine, that pressure becomes a trap. Artists aren't growing, they're shrinking under the weight of expectations. A label is supposed to build stars, not shadows, and Parkwood, it's starting to look more like a high-gloss holding pen than a launch pad. Even artists like Halle, who have crossover buzz thanks to big studio roles, seem stuck in limbo when it comes to music. The momentum fizzles, the energy drops, and fans start to wonder if signing with Beyoncé is more of a curse than a co-sign. Beyoncé built her legacy on being untouchable. That's part of the magic. She doesn't do messy. She doesn't over-explain. She moves in silence, drops masterpieces, and lets the world react. But in the world of business, especially in this era of transparency, that same silence can start to feel like a wall. And when you're trying to sell a product, whether it's clothes, music, or perfume, a wall between you and your audience is a recipe for disaster. The reality is, Beyoncé's brand outside of music doesn't feel lived in. It feels curated, distant, and above the crowd. That works for a stadium show. For skincare, fashion, wellness, or anything lifestyle-based, fans need to feel like they're part of the journey. They want the Instagram stories, the awkward bloopers, the "this didn't work for me today" moments. That's what drives loyalty now, not perfection. Personality. That's why when people look at Rihanna's Fenty or Kim Kardashian's Skims, they don't just see products, they see reflections of the person behind them. Rihanna built Fenty to match her own skin tones. She demoed products on camera. She posted with no makeup. Kim turned shapewear into something sleek by literally wearing it under every outfit and showing fans exactly how it worked for her body. That kind of accessibility makes a product more than just a thing to buy. It becomes a piece of the person selling it. With Beyoncé, that connection's missing. Her silence may build intrigue, but it doesn't build trust. You don't see her casually rocking Ivy Park at the grocery store. You don't get GRWM videos with her spritzing her latest scent or showing how she uses her own skincare. So fans, even the diehard ones, don't get emotionally attached to the products. They admire her, but they don't relate to her, and when it's time to pull out the credit card, admiration isn't always enough. Then there's the rollout strategy, or lack of it. A lot of her product launches come in big, loud, cinematic waves and then vanish. No follow-up, no behind-the-scenes look, no evolving campaign, just a single drop and a fade out. That's not how you build longevity, that's how you get clearance racks. It's like she's treating business launches the same way she treats album drops. Quick, massive, mysterious, but outside of music, that strategy doesn't land the same. Even the Parkwood system runs into the same issue. Artists under her label are set up in a machine that mirrors Beyoncé's ultra-controlled style, but they don't have her platform or pull. When their projects drop, there's no viral rollout, no meme-worthy moments, no authenticity to grip onto. Fans don't even know what makes them unique because their individuality gets drowned out. And worse, when they flop, Beyoncé stays quiet. No push, no damage control, no second wind. At some point, you have to ask, is she spreading herself too thin? Maybe not every icon is meant to be a mogul. Beyoncé's gift is performance, vision, music, not necessarily mentorship or branding a product beyond her image. Her mystery is part of what made her a legend, but in today's climate, legends need to show up. The truth? Beyoncé's name will always be powerful. She'll always be a once-in-a-generation talent. But fame can only carry a brand so far. At some point, it needs presence. It needs human touch. It needs connection. And right now, her empire isn't crumbling because she's not great. It's crumbling because we can't feel her in it. Fans don't want perfection anymore. They want real. And until Beyoncé gives them that, every non-music venture might just keep falling short.